All right, so we took a look at Excel last time, and we got to the point where we were able to, again, take this data, which is very granular. We're looking at individuals and we're aggregating it into some graphs to kind of see what the data says. So we did that in Excel. It's a little bit tricky to navigate this. It takes some time to figure things out. Say we wanted to map gender on here. It's just a little bit more complex to look at things. So it's not great. And we can look at the male female breakdown to see, like, you know, how are folks coping with this disease in Ontario related to age group and gender. So again, it's slightly complex in Excel, and but again, it's moving this, which, you know, we can't really make sense of, into this. And so another program that will help us do this is called Fathom. Okay, and so Fathom, let me just map this in here. I think I'll just full screen it. So this is the same data set. I'll show you how to put this in next situation. But what we have here is we've got a bunch of cases, okay, and they call it case. This is case 1 out of 43,161 ID each individual, and I can toggle through these as I go. But again, Fathom is very sort of GUI oriented, graphical user interface. So it's like the same as Excel, where you look at things. So if I have this highlighted, I can drag a table down. I can work with tables. I can add a new row if I want, call it whatever I want. But again, looking at the tables don't typically help. What we want to look at is, again, some graphs, and maybe we'll take a look at some summary statistics here in a second. So what we looked at in Excel was we looked at age grouping. And so what happens is you drag age group over to summary, and it gives us a count of all of these things. Now, I can't filter these as easily. I don't really know how to do it very well in Fathom. What you could do is you know, just find those individuals and remove them from the cases, but it becomes a little bit tricky. I'll get into that a little bit later. And then we wanted to look at the outcome. Where is that outcome? Okay, and so we'll put this on the bottom. And now what we have is we have a count of each of these. It's the same table we saw before. How many people are in each total? There's the full case. So this is kind of what's called a two-way table. We've got one categorical variable on the top, one categorical variable on the bottom, and then we have counts of each. Okay, so this variable outcome 1 has 3 states: fatal, not resolved, and resolved. And this age group has, again, all these different states, and these are categorical data. What we want to do maybe is we want to do a graph here. So if we kind of reproduce the graph we did in Excel, we wanted to look at age group. Okay, on the bottom, again, I'm not sure I want to live do the unknowns because I just don't know how to do it. I think you can do it with an add filter, but I'm just not sure how that works. So I'm going to avoid it for now. So we'll just have a little bit of messiness. You can see it. I've got all these individual states now. So I just bring it back up to that, remove filter, because we didn't actually do one. Anyway, now we're getting into stuff that doesn't matter. Okay, so outcome. So I want to map outcome now. You can see the heading here says frequency of age in thousands. Okay, so it sort of, Fathom will auto look at these things. And I'm going to put, I want to see, well, what does this look like when I map it on? Now we can see as a bar chart what each looks like. Okay, this isn't necessarily a great way to just map it on to the left thing, because what it does is it gives us 3 different bar charts for each state of outcome. So Fathom has an undo button, Control Z, same as others. Okay. And what we'll do now is I'm going to say, rather than put it on the side axis, I'm going to map it right on to the graph. And because I want to get that sort of stacked bar chart situation here. There we go. It's a little bit nicer to look at. So again, now we have a look at the different states here of the graphs. Okay. If you want something moved, you can go like that, no problem. Okay. So here we have the same graph that we looked at in Excel as in Fathom. It's a lot easier to look at. We just take this and throw it onto the graph rather than trying to count each different situation.